A game series that has lasted almost 15 years with no sign of stopping anytime soon. A game series that tells a story of one continent with interlocking narratives and vast world building over hundreds of hours of gameplay. That is the Trails series produced by Falcom, an ambitious project that has already produced some great games. But they didn't stop with Trails in the Sky. No. It is now time to talk about Trails of Cold Steel, the most recent addition to the Legend of Heroes Trails series. Trails of Cold Steel is a continuation of the Trails series that began with Trails in the Sky. If you want to check out my video on that trilogy, it is in the description. These games are certainly newer and have differences from the Trails in the Sky games, but for the most part, the core gameplay and story development is the same. Why then should you play Trails of Cold Steel? A revamped battle system with faster action, a story that continues the politics and adventures many enjoyed in the first games, a relationship system, which may or may not be a selling point for others, but certainly will cause more shipping wars than every previous game combined, and several other points I'll get into. Quick note, because Trails of Cold Steel occurs after Trails in the Sky, there may be spoilers for Trails in the Sky in this video. I will do my best to refrain from letting that happen and minimize any that do occur, but you have been warned. Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 are part of a tetralogy of games based in the country of Erebonia on the continent of Zemuria. 3 and 4 won't be talked about because 3 hasn't been localized and 4 hasn't been released yet. But once they come west, you best believe I'll be playing them. Erebonia in the Trails series is generally regarded as the menacing empire, so the shift to playing as citizens of that empire is jarring in some cases. Trails of Cold Steel started after a duo of games that have still not had a Western release in the neighboring state of Crossbell called Zero no Kiseki and Eo no Kiseki. They, like all the Legend of Heroes Trails games, are produced by Falcom and have been localized by Xseed. They retain much of the same gameplay aspects, so it is still a JRPG with turn-based combat and a lot of exploration, characters with complex backgrounds, and solving people's problems. Trails of Cold Steel 1 released in Japan in 2013 and released in North America and Europe in 2015. Trails of Cold Steel 2 was released in 2014 in Japan and localized and released elsewhere in 2016. Remasters and ports have come pretty consistently since then, meaning both games can be played on PlayStation or PC. The story of Trails of Cold Steel follows Rien Schwarzer, a student at Thor's military academy in the Erebonian Empire. Yes, the looming potential bad guys from the Trails in the Sky series, who has become part of a new class at the academy called Class 7. The unique aspect of Class 7 is that it is a mix of commoners and nobles, unlike the other classes at the academy. Unlike with Liberl from the first games, Erebonia has placed great emphasis in their society on the distinction between nobles and commoners. The player arrives, though, at a pivotal time in society because of the desire of some to change that dynamic, making Class 7 an experiment reflecting the changes in wider society. The story of both Cold Steel 1 and 2 revolves around this class, their friends and family, and sometimes their instructors. The story also touches on a lot of the inner political turmoil of the nation at the time, especially the factionalism between the noble class and the reformists led by Chancellor Osborne. Like with Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel travels around the land of Erebonia, showing off different locales, political ideas, characters, and enemies. As Class 7 travels around, they become more entangled in the tense situation across the Empire, which, spoilers, only increases as the games go on. They learn to cooperate across diverse backgrounds and ideologies in a mirror of the struggles besetting the Erebonian Empire. The story is ambitious, which is both its blessing and curse. The politics, as with Trails in the Sky, are fascinating and the world is well built around the conflicts within the country. This storytelling is at its best when told with a good set of characters at Cold Steel's disposal. The grand scale, though, may stretch Cold Steel further than it should have been, removing focus on the, in my opinion, more important aspects, which is character development. Sometimes it feels as though the series built from the top down when they constructed the world. In the interest of getting everything done in the larger story, the charm and gradual connection players establish with characters becomes more confined and reliant on using the characters in-game to get any sense of their background and personality. The Sky games balanced this better than Cold Steel, and I think that's at least partially because they were based in a smaller country. Despite my complaining, this game still has a well-told story that I am very much invested in. I, like others, compare it though to what came before it with certain expectations, and in some cases, Cold Steel falls short of its predecessors. Cold Steel, though, retains the wonderful characters seen in previous games, with the only issue for me coming from the fact that we don't see enough of them. The only way to really get a sense of personality is by using them in your party and going to their bonding events. Yes, you heard that right. Inspired perhaps by the Persona model, Cold Steel has bonding events where you can strengthen friendships between Reen and the other cast members, which can give gameplay perks as well. I like these focus scenes that give a greater glimpse into the characters. I just wish they weren't necessary to get character development. Fascinating characters such as Makia seem rather bland without doing this additional work to get the development, and because of the nature of the games, someone has to be left out because you can't do all the events, at least not on the first playthrough. That's my one big issue. Others point to a greater reliance on tropes as one of the reasons the cast of Cold Steel is not as beloved as the cast of Sky. I think this is overblown though. Like with Sky, one of the major aspects of the Trails series is taking existing tropes and subverting them. The main cast is lovable and well fleshed out, while the NPCs help to form a larger community that envelops the game. Erebonia feels like a country, one distinct from Liberl of the Sky games, and that comes from the characters more than anything else. From the students of Thors outside of Class 7 to the political factions, the player occasionally glimpses and interacts with. All the NPCs are varied and bright characters that add to the enjoyment of the games. I think the characters remain one of the major selling points of the Trails games, from a solid main cast, a good set of villains, and a plethora of engaging side characters. Gameplay-wise, there are a few changes. From the overall progression through the story method, there is an actual calendar with specific events happening on particular days. This addition is unsurprising given the academic environment in which the game is set. It also gives a better sense of time progression than previous games, which did not have a calendar. Events include, but are not limited to, classes, where at most you'll be asked a question, field studies, where you travel around the Empire visiting places and completing tasks, and the final festival that ends the first game. That is the case for the first game. The second game, being more disrupted from the academic life, changes the formula up to combine the progression in the first game with the more open travel of the Sky games. Main quests and side quests are retained both when at Thors Academy and outside. Main quests must be completed, and side quests are recommended to improve your class rank. Improving class rank can lead to great rewards, so I advise completing all the side quests you can, including the hidden ones. Combat-wise, the battles are turn-based with a variety of moves you can complete as each character. You have usually a party of 4, although Cold Steel adds in support characters who can switch into battle, upping the total in the party to a maximum of 7. Encounters are still engaged on the overworld map and then transition into the battle system. Unlike Sky, Cold Steel does not have a grid system for movement, although there are still spatial restrictions of the battlefield. Attack is a normal attack, Arts is an elemental ability that uses EP to use, Crafts are specialized attack or support abilities that use CP to use, with the most powerful being S-Crafts, usable at 100 CP and granted even greater power at 200 CP. These can also be done out of turn order. Item and Runaway are fairly straightforward, but again, unlike the Sky games, Cold Steel's Runaway feature is not automatic. The turn order bar and bonuses return from the Sky games that alter the battle flow and prioritize abilities that change turn order, such as the attack delay strategy, which some argue is so powerful it makes most enemies trivial. For the overworld engagement, it becomes more active as instead of just walking into an enemy when their back is turned, you now must hit them with your weapon to gain an advantage. The biggest new addition is the combat link system, enabled through the innovative technology Arcus that allows your party members to unbalance opponents to grant additional attacks. Once enough points, BP, have been generated, more powerful link attacks called Rush and Burst can be used to destroy enemies even faster. Each battle and bonding event gives more link experience, improving characters' bonds and granting better abilities such as automatic heals or damage reduction. This system in particular improves the gameplay by giving the player a more active role in battling instead of simply commanding. There is one other new battle form that takes place in both games, but that would be a big spoiler if I revealed it here, so I'll refrain for now. You can discover it if you play the games, but it is a fun combat experience in my opinion. Exploration is still a big part of the games, with discovery of treasure chests still a happy occurrence, although unfortunately without the amazing chest quotes from the Sky games. Along with that, menus have generally been simplified, with the art system being the biggest simplification. Now your abilities are programmed straight into the Arcus rather than putting in an elemental type and getting stuff from that. There is also a master quartz that levels up over time to grant more abilities and powers. Minigames also make a return, including fishing, a system that's gotten even better than the Sky games, and other fun games such as the card game Blade or snowboarding. These are mini activities, but I still think it's worth noting how fun they can be without distracting too much from the main game. Heck, since Blade is played with the other characters against Reen, it can even add to the experience, especially since it gives a boost to your link with the supporting characters. The score is solid, if unspectacular, from my experience. The pieces fit well with the setting, with few standouts in a good or bad way. The visuals, unsurprisingly, have improved vastly from the Sky games, although with the loss of some of the charm, because, let's face it, those Sky overworld chibis were quite cute. Cold Steel helps highlight the improved visuals with a wide variety of distinct locations, and even variation of seasons in the one major location. The voice acting is quite good as well across the board of main characters, and some fun supporting characters. The game is polished, and the PC ports, which is what I played, have even more voice lines and certain quality of life additions, including turbo mode for those looking to speed the game along a little more. While the music, voice acting, and visuals won't blow anyone in this age away, they do enhance the gameplay experience a fair amount. The Trails of Cold Steel games are another solid entry to what has become one of my favorite game series of all time. It continues the series' tradition of good characters, fun and ambitious storytelling, and an enjoyable gameplay experience. Yes, the game is long, probably 50 plus hours at least for those not spamming turbo mode and going for a speedrun, but I think it's worth the time investment. There are some fans of the Trails in the Sky games that deride Cold Steel for the changes it has made, and there is some merit to those arguments. A lot of them, though, ignore how good the Cold Steel games are in their own regard, and how in some ways they improved upon the franchise formula. Trails in the Sky is excellent, and Cold Steel is quite good as well, so I recommend Cold Steel to fans of the Sky games and as a potential jumping on point for newcomers. These games are accessible and amusing, and I can't wait for when Cold Steel 3 and 4 come to the West, and also for the fan translation of Zero no Kiseki, but I'll discuss that in another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe for more videos from me about various games. I hope you have a great day, and happy gaming!